Make it loud for the flower girl.
Please make it loud for Josh Johnson!
I try really hard to not be this type of person, but every once in a while it creeps out. You know, I'm human and I can't help it. You never want to have a good day just because someone else is having a bad day. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes somebody you can't stand is having a real bad day and it just brings you joy. You know what I mean? Sometimes, because we're all gonna have our good days and bad days, but sometimes somebody's having a bad day and you're like, you earned it. You know? Oh. Last Sunday, Trump had a very bad day. And I try to engage in as much like empathy as I can for what someone might be feeling when something happens. Not to say that it makes me like agree with people or anything, but I just try to put myself in that person's headspace. And his headspace must have been a headache. Wow. This dude loves the Patriots. Man, this dude loves the Patriots, and for an entire half, whew, You would think they just weren't meant to hold the ball. There was I never try to play like armchair expert when it comes to a sport because these are athletes that can do things that I can't do. But honestly, into the second quarter, I was throwing ideas out there from the couch. I was like, look, maybe take the gloves off. I think the gloves holding you back, Those balls are slipping. They slipping on the glove. Maybe really grip it as it comes at you. This is why you need to grow your fingernails out. That's what you need to do. That way you can clutch it. This thing bouncing off your hand, all glove, no hand. No, it was rough. Watch the Patriots fight as hard as they can for that zero. That was, you never want to see somebody play a sport, especially in an elite level, that makes it look like you could do it. You know what I mean? Like, by the fifth time they sacked the quarterback, I was like, yeah, I'd probably panic too. Like, I can see that happening. And then, if Trump thought he had a bad night watching the Patriots lose, and then Bad Buddy showed up. Bad Buddy, okay. I knew the Super Bowl was gonna be in Spanish, right? And I thought, here's the thing, I'll admit that I also thought that because I took a little bit of Spanish in elementary school, and because I took a little bit more Spanish in like junior high, and I did take some in high school, right? That I was like, okay, I might catch on to a couple things. And then he starts, right? He starts, and I'm like, all right, when I saw the Spanish come on screen, I was like, okay, he means it. He wasn't playing. And I see the Spanish come across, and I was like, okay, all right, get ready. And even when they played the opening titles, I was like, I don't know why I thought blinking would make me understand the Spanish more. I opened my eyes wide. I did everything I could. Turns out that opening was just Bad Bunny's full name. Had to be told that later. My friend Maria helped me out, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because it's his, because he's, yes. And we open up on these sugarcane fields, like what looks like the sugarcane plantation, and it's hitting notes of, historically in Puerto Rico, there was African slavery when Puerto Rico was owned by the Spanish, and it turned into, even in the transition from Spain to the US, it's turned into a habit for whoever is controlling Puerto Rico to absolutely abuse the labor and the land of the people. And so you see, even though this Super Bowl was full of joy, even though it was full of things that were pointing to different parts of the culture, everything that he was pointing to was to something that had a darker side of the history of the treatment of the people and of the land. And we see Bad Bunny starting to dance. He's got the football, and in no time he had cleared way more yards than the Patriots. Like, it was genuinely insane. It felt like he was, felt like he was making a statement about that. I know he probably wasn't, but he couldn't have known the outcome of the game beforehand, but like, wow. Moving very easy, moving his shoulders and everything. I was like, okay. Bad Bunny starts singing, and all I can say is My Duolingo failed me, all right? Wow! I admittedly, I didn't know, I could feel the vibe of what was happening, and I was like, okay, all right, I think I caught that, all right, house, okay, I think that was, okay, oh, wait till I learn the whole song, okay, house. I'm positive he said booty, I think he said booty. Shake was in there, that makes sense, booty, shake. Or maybe he said salt shaker, I have no idea. Not positive. You know how when someone's speaking a different language and you try to catch up or apply the little bit that you know, I was just, in my head, I was like, okay, wait, I think I understood that, But then I realized as he really started singing that there was no way I was gonna catch up. It's not that he was, because sometimes people are like, oh, they're already speaking a different language. You'll go to another country and they're already speaking a different language, but then sometimes we, as people from the US that go to a different country, are like, why are they speaking so fast? It's like, they're not speaking fast, they're speaking their language that they know. But I will admit that when I was watching Bad Bunny that first go around, I was not understanding faster than he was speaking. I was getting myself all confused. And then, I saw people complaining. They were like, why weren't there subtitles? He should have had some subtitles on there. Why weren't there subtitles? He's gonna do it in Spanish. Why is there a subtitle? Come on now. The country that hates to read wanted subtitles. You're not being honest. You're not being honest at all. The same people, you're telling me you would have loved it if you could read it. The people who don't even want to read the history of Puerto Rico would have loved Bad Bunny's performance if they could read it the whole time. It's crazy. This dude, there's no way. There's no way if you could read it, you'd be like, oh, now I love it. I read for 13 minutes and now I'm not racist. This is crazy. No. But the imagery alone was a lot to follow. I gotta be honest with you right now that I could talk about this thing for 2 hours and not scratch the surface of everything that was covered, because whether it was symbols or whether it was a storytelling, it goes much deeper than anything that I could understand right then, or I've even understood really since I started reading about it and I started asking people. I asked my Puerto Rican friends to explain parts of it to me, and they were gracious enough to. And even then, even as they were explaining things to me, I had to look up things that they had referenced, and the whole thing genuinely just goes so deep. I was really impressed with how much was packed in there, even just from one image alone. And we see all of the different groups that he's passing. He passes these women that are standing next to some cinder blocks. He passes these elders playing dominoes. And even as I'm watching it, I'm looking for like anything that I can latch on to, whether it's just imagery or something he says. And we see him moving past these women getting their nails done, and this jeweler who hands him a ring, gets that ring, takes a look at it, passes it to this guy, and the guy quickly drops on one knee, proposes. That's a lot of pressure. Oh, you gotta say yes. This is live broadcast right now. You can't be like, let me think about it. And then, when the camera pans, you see all of these different people. And it was the first time that I sort of locked in. I admittedly did not know what was going on fully at any point. I'm not gonna act like I did. In fact, I have to shout out every friend that talked to me and walked me through the symbolism and the story and everything that was happening, because genuinely I was interested, but I obviously didn't know it when it was happening. And then I had one clue though. One thing clued me in. When we were panning and you see all these people dancing in front of the house, all these people gathered together, it was the first time that I sort of locked in that he wasn't just repping and talking about Puerto Rico in this performance. It was all of the Latin world, because you saw people that were from Chile, from Bolivia, from Colombia, from Argentina. You saw all these people that were from different countries in the Americas, and then you see Bad Bunny on the roof, and I was like, okay, all right, He's on the roof. That must mean something. Whole time I'm like trying to lock it as hard as I can. I was like, okay, he said blue at one point. I know I heard blue. And he's dancing, he does some music on the roof, and then the roof collapses, falls right through. And admittedly, I wasn't sure that was part of it. Like initially I was like, oh no! They got to him. But this dude stands up and there's already a camera inside. I'm like, oh, this was part of the plan. Yeah, everybody's already in here and everything. But he crashes through the roof, and it was actually my friend Joel who told me about how during Hurricane Maria, Puerto Rico was so devastated. And FEMA took forever. And FEMA wanted to leave immediately. So there are still parts of Puerto Rico that are disheveled from that hurricane. You know, it's affected the grid, it's affected people's houses. There's people who have tarps over the top of their houses because they haven't been able to rebuild their roofs, even now. And Bad Bunny does a thing which maybe it's meant to be symbolic, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but he just falls through the roof, which is a pretty big deal. I don't know if you know anyone who's ever fell through a roof, but that was the end of their day. I lived in Louisiana where there are also hurricanes, and I've known two people who have fallen or almost fallen through a roof. And both times it was the end of their day. One of my friends was working on a roof and his foot went through, and he was like, you know what? I think God called me to do something else. He actually quit that day. He doesn't do that job anymore. And then my other friend actually fell through the roof and luckily didn't land on anything that would cause him like severe harm, just the floor. But when you land on the floor from roof height, it is the last thing you do that day. But not Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny fell through the roof, gets up, just dusts himself off, kicks open the door, and continues the show. And it felt like a symbol of what Puerto Rican people have had to do. You know, losing their roofs, losing their way of life sometimes, having to adjust to anything that will work, and just carrying on. And then you see this dude dancing, and at one point, he's looking right at the screen, and he says, I'm here because I believed in myself. Right? You should believe in yourself too. You're bigger than you think. You're more than you think. You know? Admittedly, my friend Maria had to tell me he said that. I did not catch that at the time. At the time, I was just watching him, and I was like, he must mean it, whatever, keep pointing. So this part is serious. And once again, I thought what it must be like to watch this Super Bowl halftime as Donald Trump. He must have been watching it thinking like, did he say something about me? Did he say something? Then we transition over to the wedding. The wedding was beautiful. Remember the couple from before, from the proposal? Them. They did it quick. Everybody else over here planning a wedding for a year and a half, not them. They got right to it. He proposed and they were like, here is nice. I will say though, one thing I can't imagine, one thing that is rough, whether it's like just couples hanging out or it's Valentine's Day, there is nothing like being the dude who's friends with the dude who did something epic for the proposal or for the wedding. Oh, it'd make you sick. You just sitting there. Because now imagine being their friends this week. You They're sitting there. It's actually such a funny story. Okay, so we actually emailed Bad Bunny. This is all true. This is what happened. We actually emailed Bad Bunny and invited him to our wedding. Please, people, invite Bad Bunny to their wedding, and whatever, he might come, and we might get to meet Bad Bunny. And then we email him. We don't even think anything about it. Forgot we did it. And then we get an email from like badbunny@gmail.com, and he was like, I can't make it to your wedding, I'm very busy, but would you like to get married at the Super Bowl? And we were like, yes, of course. I mean, you saw us last week, so. I can't imagine what it's like to be their friend and the dude who hasn't proposed yet. Like, you just sitting there like, bruh, shut up. I'm not gonna be able to top that. There's a sense that you start to get of what watching a community looks like, right? You're just watching these people dance, have fun, get married, He reveals this wedding, throws to it. You see this wedding, and then you see Lady Gaga. You see Lady Gaga. And there was a big complaint this entire time about how whole thing was in Spanish. Can't believe he did the whole thing in Spanish, top to bottom. This is a Super Bowl, he did all in Spanish. Whole performance was in Spanish, but it wasn't. The whole performance was not in Spanish. Lady Gaga was singing in English. Imagine being so racist that you hear English and you're like, this Spanish needs to get up off my TV. This is not what America is about. I can't believe they still got this Spanish on the halftime. This is Super Bowl halftime. You go speak some English, Super Bowl. You go sing in English. I had the opposite reaction. I heard Lady Gaga singing, and for a second, I thought I was understanding Spanish. I'm not gonna lie to you. When Lady Gaga started singing, I was like, oh, okay, all right, it's clicking. Oh, this must be what it feels like to be bilingual. All right, we locking in. And then you see Bad Bunny, after he dances with Gaga, sings. This dude does like a trust fall off the top of the building and gets caught by the people underneath him. And as far as like symbols and images go, that's a pretty amazing one for your community always having your back. It was really cool to watch. And that was one of the biggest complaints that people had. I didn't understand a word that he said. And I don't know, this is just my take, but I really do think that it's important that Bad Bunny did the show the way that he did it, that there were no subtitles or anything, because you shouldn't need to understand somebody's language to understand their value and their culture's value. You shouldn't need to know exactly what they're saying. Because one of the best and coolest things that Bad Bunny did is he just showed, even though the imagery calls to something very dark, he showed how beautiful all that culture is, all over the Latin world, all over North and Central and South America. And it's a very important image to watch of seeing all these people. Because whenever you're like any minority, usually when you're on a big stage, or it's time for, Oscar noms and everything, the stories that get told about the different groups are usually just about tragedy. It's usually like bad, how much can you make us feel with all of your pain? And it's a very different direction to go, to only show joy, to only show family, to only show this beautiful, blossoming culture, right? Things that things that people feel like only they understand, only they see, that are never really on a world stage. It's definitely a choice. I think it was the right choice, because when you watch something like that, you see something that you can't possibly combat. You see that these are these people dancing right now, these people having this wonderful time, these people getting married, these people just expressing joy to the highest degree. These are the people being terrorized. Like, these are the people being hunted and harassed by ICE. These are the people being locked up. It's these people. You don't see any monsters on that stage. You don't see any criminals on that stage. You see regular, beautiful people, and those regular, beautiful people are the people who have to stress every single day about their own government coming after them. You know, so many times people have said, why couldn't an American do the halftime show? Never mind the fact that Puerto Rico, like, I can't stop saying it, because the thing that Freudian slip should tell you was that it was always about, like, culture and race. It was never actually about someone being an American. You know? You know, there are some people that obviously this happened last year, happened this year. I'm sure it'll happen in the future with a different group, with a different performance on a different stage. And there are some people that are like, it wasn't radical enough, it didn't go far enough. And it's like, all right, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But, you know, it's every artist's choice to express themselves the way that they see best. And I thought that this was a great way to get the conversation started. A lot of things that I didn't know, that I looked up specifically because I saw this halftime show. Things that my Puerto Rican friends could have told me before this halftime show, but they didn't know I had the interest, and I didn't know to ask. And so it all starts a conversation. Conversation is incredibly important. Meanwhile, you had the Turning Point USA halftime show. This dude, oh man. All right, so admittedly, I did watch it like way later. I didn't change the channel. They did their own halftime show, Turning Point USA, and they gathered together some of the most famous musicians in the history of music, and they performed a separate halftime show. And I don't know, okay. I saw a dude, I don't know his name, but he got up there and sang a song that I'm sure he wrote specifically for this event. He had his guitar, man was feeling himself. Leaned into the mic. You know that lean into the mic where you're really about to break it down. Some people just sing. No, my man was over here. This dude got in. I just want to kiss my fish. I swear that's what I thought he said. I was positive that's what he said. Turns out he said catch, but wow. I know I don't speak Spanish, but I thought I had a pretty good handle on English. And it really sounded like he said kiss. But now kiss is stuck in my head. Randomly, I'll be going about my day and just think, I just want to kiss my fish. It'd be amazing, even just for the story world of the song, you know? Because the song was about how it's not easy being country in this country anymore. It's very difficult. It's news to me, but it is very hard to be country. And then I guess he goes over what the definition of country is, which is like kissing or catching fish, driving his truck, drink his beer and not have to listen to stuff he doesn't want to hear, which I guess is like everything. The rest of being country in the country seems very simple. If you want to drink your beer and you're of legal age, all you need to do is swallow. If all you want to do is drive your truck, then I think you just need a license and then it's yours to drive. With gas, I guess that part could be difficult if you don't have gas money. And then, really, outside of hearing things you don't want to hear, the fish is probably the hardest part. Whether you want to kiss a fish or catch it. First of all, to kiss it, you gotta catch it, which is already its own struggle, all right? You're gonna catch the fish when the fish is ready to be caught, when it falls for the bait, or when it gives up. I don't know. And then kissing a fish is just your prerogative. That's... But I just wanted to imagine a world where he said, "Kiss my fish." And he's like angry about all this woke stuff. Meanwhile, he's married to a fish. All right, to each their own, yeah. And all he wants to do is kiss his fish, But it keeps wiggling. It keeps... And he's like, "Come here." They had, back-to-back performances. They did a weird thing, though, where basically their halftime show went longer than the Bad Bunny halftime show, 10 minutes longer, which means if people wanted to watch the whole thing, they'd have to miss the Super Bowl. That's a choice. And then there's all this talk about how many people actually watched, because they were saying that 6 million people watched live and it was climbing, right? And then we hear later that may have been heavily botted. I don't know if it was, but I just feel like it would make sense. Because whatever I'm on Twitter, the bots are pretty racist. And so I can only imagine they would probably want to tune in. Did a whole separate halftime that then we find out wasn't even live. It was pre-taped, but not just pre-taped over 3 or 4 days. And the audience that was there, it wasn't a lot. That's why it was so dark. It was 180 people apparently. It was 180 people that they kept moving around to look like a bigger audience. Which, look, you can clown them if you want, but I have done this same thing before at parties where not enough people showed up. I did take different pictures of everybody in different rooms to try to make it look very full. When I posted it to Facebook later, I was like, man, you couldn't even move. There was no arm room in here. I did the thing to my party that realtors do to a very terrible apartment where they're get in the corner of the room. And so, apparently these people were told that someone really famous was going to perform, more famous than Kid Rock, and then Kid Rock headlined it. And then apparently, this is what I've heard, that this shooting was 3 to 5 takes for every performer. The song over and over again, which was leading these people who were essentially extras in this production to have 12-hour days. And for these 12-hour days, apparently, I don't know if it was total or if it was per day, but it sounds total, they were paid $250. So I guess both halftime shows touched on the themes of slavery. Imagine 36 hours just to hear somebody, I just want to kiss my fish. And then immediately hearing somebody say, cut, cut, cut. I don't believe you. Give it to me deeper. Give it to me again. You in the back, really pump your fist for this one. Get angry. You're angry. You're angry, right? Get angry, okay? Now you, give it to me again. I just want to kiss my fish. No, we don't believe you. We don't know. It's not coming through, all right? It's not, we need more. We need to come from your you know your diaphragm? You're singing from the back of your head. It's the diaphragm. Again, you also in the back, wave a cell phone. Wave a cell phone. Wave a cell phone. What do you mean it died? What do you mean it died? We've been here 10 hours. If your phone doesn't have 10 hours of battery life, you need to get a new phone, all right? Wave somebody else's cell phone then. You'll get lunch when you get it. We're having tacos. And then, at the real halftime show, there was Bad Bunny doing a thing that I thought was so cool, but I didn't understand the context at the time. You see Bad Bunny climb this light pole, and he's dancing up there, and then there are these other dancers that are suspended from the light pole, and they're spinning around everything. It looks really cool. You see sparks fly. You're like, yeah, Bad Bunny, get him. He's over here, and you know, he had the hips going. He was, yeah, those are some good moves. I feel like I would hurt myself if I. But what I was told by my friend Justine was that climbing of the light pole, it basically represented the same thing. Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, and there are still some parts of the island that used to have power and don't have it now. So everyday citizens, regular people who were not electricians, were climbing up the light pole trying to figure out how to get power back for their families, for their community and everything. And so even as he's having all this fun, all this joy, we see the thing that he's representing it's like steeped in all this inequality, in the treatment of people who are citizens, you know? Later on, he throws to Ricky Martin. I'm gonna be honest with you, I hadn't seen Ricky Martin in a while. And so as soon as I saw Ricky Martin, I was like, is that Ricky Martin? That's also how I can tell I'm getting older, because there are people who it's been a long time since I've seen them, that when I see them, instead of just recognizing that I recognize them, I ask the question out loud to no one. And I always used to watch like my uncle and other people do this and think it was like such an old person thing to do, because I'm like, oh, do you not remember, or are you looking for confirmation from me? And like, why is that not? Why do you never ask in your voice? You never ask in your voice. You have your speaking voice, and then you have your is that person voice. No, I knew I was getting older because it just escaped. I was like, is that Ricky Martin? says, is that Rico? Yeah, as soon as I saw Ricky Martin singing. And he was singing a song about Hawaii. He was singing a song about Hawaii and what the U.S. government did to Hawaii. You know, they have their statehood now, but they were annexed and they lost a lot of their culture. They lost a lot of their people because of the colonization of the U.S. And you see something similar happening in Puerto Rico. You know, if you really look at the history of the island and how it basically changed hands from Spain to the U.S. and how there were things that Spain did and there were things that the U.S. did, things the U.S. did are much more recent. It makes them even more harrowing because we think of things like colonization as things you read about in history books that happened a long time ago, but the effects are still with us right now. And we still see the world experiencing this same sort of colonization, but now it's through different instruments. Yeah. Now it's not, you know, people in weird boots hopping off of boats with muskets. Now it's in the way that we trade. It's in the way that we tax. You know? You look at Puerto Rico, these people don't have statehood. They don't vote on the people that govern them. Those people are picked by the president. And he happens to always pick people who are good for business in the U.S. And you see his little TV with Bad Bunny accepting his Grammy, giving his speech. And Bad Bunny's speech at the Grammys was basically that he sees all this hate. He starts it with Ice Out. And he says that he sees all this hate. That the only thing more powerful than hate is love. And that's the message that he wanted to leave people with from his Grammy speech. It's clear the message he wanted to leave people with from his halftime performance. And I just don't understand how you can watch a halftime performance and have the sort of response that Trump had. In fact, after Bad Bunny performed, Trump came out and said that was the worst performance. What an embarrassment to our great country. Look at that gyrating that they were doing, you know, with kids watching. And I was just sitting there like, wait. Trump, you watched? You watched? They made one specifically for you and you watched this one. That was yours. The other one was supposed to be yours. And then you... Oh, I'd be so mad. If I was Turning Point, if I was Kid Rock, that's supposed to be your boy. And he didn't... He'd rather hate watch Bad Bunny than just watch you. That's wild. I mean, imagine how Kid Rock must feel. Oh, I'm surprised Kid Rock and Trump are even friends. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, he loves rock, but he really loves... But then you see Bad Bunny with this football. This football says we are all American. And he's walking down the field and he says, God bless America. And then he starts listing all the countries that make up the Americas. Not every single one, but as many as he can get out. This man is walking down the field, once again, way further than the Patriots have been. Like, I thought that thing as well, if you're talking about symbols and you're talking about what people should do with their voice on like a world stage, just that thing alone, just that point, hopefully I can like distill this thing quickly and easily. But basically, we always say, God bless America. And when we say that, we are only ever talking about us as the United States, right? But America is like 2 continents. You know? And so this symbol that he's holding isn't listing these countries as just calling to people who have immigrated to the US. He's talking about the actual country. God bless Haiti. God bless Chile. God bless Argentina. God bless Bolivia. God bless Colombia. God bless all of these countries, because all of these countries are what make up America. You know? And he's walking towards the camera as he's saying it. And once again, I gotta wonder what it must feel like to be Trump watching the Super Bowl halftime. Because now everybody's coming, talking to the camera with their flag. And he had to be like, are they coming here? Or what? And one thing I thought was really, really cool, genuinely amazing about the show is that the singing and the dancing continued even after the broadcast ended. They did it all the way out the stadium, which is once again another symbol that all revolution, that all protests, all of it occurs in real time, in real life. You cannot just wait, count on some sort of broadcast, and it's not gonna stop just because the broadcast ends. And I just can't imagine like how you could watch this thing and be so angry. They were so angry. Just so deeply angry. You know, and I get it. You don't speak Spanish. I know. I don't either. I get it. You don't speak Spanish, but your hips do. You know? You don't have to understand what's being said. Not really, not to just enjoy music. We send our music all over the world. We send hip hop all over the world. It's been embraced the world over. It's been embraced just as it is. You'll see these concerts in Japan where our artists go there and perform the song in English, and there are people that sing it with them. They, even if that's the only English they know, they learn that English because they love that song so much. You know? And look, I'll even say this. I'll even extend a little bit of an olive branch, right? I can understand. You are, in your mind, the one true culture. And you're watching your sport, your favorite sport, on the world stage. And for the first time ever, you're seeing it in a way that you feel like you can't possibly relate to because it's in a different language. You know? Like, we had Kendrick's halftime, and there was symbolism in it that you may not understand, or it may be like a lifestyle that you don't get. But this thing, having all these people across the Latin world dancing and singing their language, happy, full of joy, could be scary if you think, uh-oh, this is it for us. This is it for us. We're going away. If we're not the center of the Super Bowl, then what are we really? And you're terrified. And you're so terrified, you're watching it. And you don't ask yourself why you need to be the one and only. You're more just watching it and thinking to yourself, what's so great about this? Why couldn't they get something that I like? You know? And listening to it. And then maybe something happens. Something you don't even intend to happen. Maybe something you don't want to happen. You're listening to Bad Bunny, and out of nowhere, You don't know why it happens. You don't know what caused it, but and it's a language you don't get. You're like, I don't know this language, and I don't know why it's making me feel this way. You know, you're so uncomfortable, you feel like you even need to walk it off a bit. You're like, what is happening? What is happening? What? What? Bad buddy, stop!